Hey guys, what's up? Today I'm gonna do some editing, probably. Someone was asking for a tech guide. I did one 4 months ago, and now I'm sitting down and I am rapidly iterating. And the way to do that is to do it offline. So if we want to practice, also I'm banned, so I've had to like figure out how to do this without. So first off, you want to go to draft spawn. No, it's game end mode, and you just can hit never ending. We're gonna get rid of this basic AI, add AI, inactive AI. Change the map. This is specifically going to be for glitters. When I do these builds, I play it by ear, and I don't tech nearly as much anymore, but it's a great place to start when you're first starting out to really learn how to scale, because scaling is incredibly important in this game. So people will want to say, like, they want their cons and stuff at a certain time,
Welcome,
and
Commander.
we can talk about, like, what's the
Please choose your
optimal time
starting
for
location.
T2, and, like, I don't know, but usually people aren't ready for it at 5 or 6 minutes, so you can go more heavily into eco anyway. My biggest gripes, my build deviates a lot more. My philosophy deviates a lot more. Got like 2,000 hours in the game and have outlandish ideas. But my biggest thing is that you want to get your max upgraded very, 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 very quickly.
Battle
Now,
started.
first off, when we land, I like to do a 3 max or a 4 max opener. So the way we do that is he's gonna land here, walk in between these two, so he doesn't like he'll be here and don't have to walk to an extra distance to get to the next max. If we start making the fourth one, I noticed that you e-stall, so you can just make this solar first before he gets there. And then when he gets here, we'll put down another solar. Then we'll need the bot lab, but I will actually want my comm to walk up there, or I could have him walk back here. I'm gonna try back this way this time. Actually, no, I won't, because you want the cap the mechs really quickly. So I will. Actually, they will be walking this way, so I will put this here. And I think it ended up being we can get away with 5 solar collectors first. And I'm going to mostly do solar, but I noticed like how slow it was, so I'm going to try to transition to wind. That's the plan. I'm going to make solar until it looks like that I'm going to stall. I'm going to set up these con turrets over here. I'm not sure. You want to get up to... We're going to do a wind build after the initial con turrets, I think. So you'll assist out what cons that you can. The Lazarus can be passively built, meaning I don't need to assist them out. They're going to go out and take all the metal on the map.
You are wasting energy.
We are wasting energy, so that'll happen with the 5th solar collector. We're just gonna make a bunch of wind. I'm not sure what the optimal time to start this con turret is, but it looks like we're doing fine on 5 mechs. And also, I really like the solar because you can just If you're stalling, make a solar. If you're stalling on E, just make a solar. You can reclaim it later. So we're just chilling here while this builds. I'm building con turrets in range of the first 4 mechs that I'm going to upgrade. I'm going to get these construction turrets up really quickly. I don't know if it's optimal to do 3 or 4 though. But these guys can... I'm going to get up to 30 wind. I can start eating this factory, but really I just need the E storage now. Everything's going to get built super quick. When I feel like I have enough E, we'll get everything together to make another con turret. And then they can go make more wind. We're at 13. The magic number I find is 30. I'm gonna see how it goes with this amount of con turrets. We're at 24. My comm is up here. We're wasting energy. We don't want that. As soon as you notice that you're wasting energy, and also it make a lot of sense to space the energy buildings, but base gets kind of cramped over here with all this wind. Let's see how quickly that's up. I'm not gonna blow my comm just yet. I'll have one con over here ready to eat. I'm floating so much. So I have some options here. Probably the best option would be like conversion. At this point, because I'm also going to eat the solar panels. This doesn't look pretty. Eat that. I'm doing really good right now. I don't know if the winds is better or what. I haven't blown the comm yet. I would like to convert as much as I can. And just have that ready. We're about the time where we can blow the comm up. Or we could have our comm in the front line helping the front line. You can do that too. I'm going to get this built. He's going to go tap this mechs, and then this one and this one. I'm only going to build
Tech 2 unit.
I'm only going to build
ready.
one T2 right now. I guess I didn't need to eat this guy. I think I might be a little behind on build power. Not too sure. We're banking resources. I think I'm going to have this go walk to the next one. And there we go. We're doing really good here. It's going to slow us down a bit, but this is where you make the decision. Am I going to upgrade more mechs or share cons? I think this is... People will start getting mad if it's too late. But there's a good chance we might start e-stalling after this. I'm not too sure. But this way we have these mechs up. So ideally you tap these mechs and then send it. It's a little bit... I didn't do it this time. But basically you just you tap the mechs and then keep... what do I do after this? I'm just going to blow him up because we're going to... that'll signify that we gave it. See how quickly it comes out. We could make more con turrets. It may be appropriate to make more wind or something. Because we're falling behind. You have an option to make solar or a solar. So maybe you want more wind. I don't know. But I think the wind is going freaking nuts right now. It shouldn't be this good most of the time. Also, these cons would be helping us giving us energy passively, but we don't. We'd be giving these away quite quickly. So we're signifying we shared them by doing this. I queued up 7, and the 7th one I will keep for myself. This way I can go upgrade these mechs. And it's 9 minutes and I've shared T2 to my entire team. I'm not sharing Fat Boys yet.
You are wasting energy.
I guess I could. I think at this point I would make some butlers. I would take factory guard off. And the only reason I'm doing this really is because I need them to upgrade the metal extractors as fast as possible. And that seems like enough. We're gonna end up with a bunch in the bank. I want to keep these cons over here. I have options. I could make more wind. I think more energy is always a good idea. It's gonna get cramped over here rather quickly. Tap that max and then go. Also, it wouldn't be a bad idea to just make a solar at this point. We're upgrading the max. Give my stuff back here something to do. And whenever like I'm just not able to spend all my build power, I would add more con turrets, but we'll just assume that we need to share Fat Boys to like every lane, so we'll just do that now. And make sure these are on high priority so they get the metal first. I can eat the basic solars. I would usually just be paying attention to the front line. I do not like commie strats. I don't think they're representative of real gameplay. We'd have had a air transport to also ferry around our T2 con back here quickly, but maybe it'll just be able to, you know, get here by the time we have the Fat Boys done. I think we're good. We're spending our metal. That's 2 Fat Boys at 11 minutes, and like the other team could have had Fat Boys earlier, but I'm going to have more Fat Boys. I'd have a heavy transport bringing these to the front because our air player is a Chad and is fulfilling his role. Very nice. So we'll call it a day at 4 Fat Boys. My engine's gonna look something like this. Make sure that I'm just building this someplace. I think all the con turrets are in range. Yeah. So we're gonna start with fusions, like for sure. And then we have this build power and that build power.
Energy.
And we're wasting energy. Uh-oh. So I can Pop down some more conversion. Yeah, we were wasting energy while we were eating the we're eating the T2 factory at this point because it's not doing anything. Maybe I won't have to do any editing. Yeah, I guess go with wind. Don't be dumb like me and go pure solar. It definitely uncomplicates things. So I have this con. I'm going to leave a grid. You can turn on the grid layout in the options.
Battle
If you just
pause.
hit filter, grid, I think building grid shows a grid on the ground to assist building placement. So
Battle resumed.
I'm gonna put these in the. There's gonna be this bigger square. It's like 8 units. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, it's 12. 12 units. But I'm gonna put these in the center. And the way this is gonna work, I'm gonna have con turrets on both sides, and I'm gonna space them. It's gonna make your base really resilient. And I have these butlers. And I'm just gonna place these down, and I've had some inefficiency here because I'm floating a lot. You don't want that. To space all these, I hit the energy converter. It's space. You plop it down. Alt shift to get this, and then space will spread them out. Just use it responsibly. Don't do it with like 1,000 cons because it'll cause issues in multiplayer. So we're way ahead on E. We're keeping an eye on the front. We're like helping out the front sometimes if they absolutely need it. But they should be making pork. It's really easy to not die in glitters if you're making pork. We're doing T1 for our converters for quite a while because they're easier in build power. They build faster. They don't cost metal, and I'm not going for an APHIS for a really long time. You see how fast these get built. Kind of time that about right. Usually I would have way more A-Solars, so I would scale a little bit differently because this is convincing me to start making wind on glitters again. Jeez. Yep. And I'll do a area repair or repair command. I hit R to queue it up, and I'm just doing, hopefully we don't get bombed or anything, but we also don't need the converters in anymore. It's taken a lot to stay ahead with conversion. I feel like I'm missing butlers. So, I could have just, like, put these somewhere over here and had them built together. Or just have a big clump of stuff somewhere. I can eat the winds now. Make up some space. I'm holding Alt and then E and then doing the area command to get stuff eaten without having to do it all individually. Just add as I really don't need more build power, but I kind of like want a specific layout, so just uniformity, it really helps me get things done. I can hold space and then it'll do that and then get back to what they were originally doing when I give a order. Now, I wouldn't recommend going T3 arbitrarily early on, like a lot of people like to do. And if you do this right, you won't have to make like an air factory to get things built quickly to navigate your base. If you let your base be navigable. Bleh. I'm gonna put this one over here because I think I've already went a little too far because I need a spot to build Aphis at some point. I'm gonna eat these solars or these converters since we're here. Alright, I need an air factory now. I'm gonna build a stork. So I can grab this and just put them over here because now it's feeling like about time. It's just too much of a pain to be staying on T1 converters. Put that down. Start a second one. They're stuck on something, so I'm gonna hit G to cancel whatever command they had at the time. And then I can boink. And whatever, we'll build a Aphis right now, I think. I don't have a great spot for it. Not every contour it's going to be in range. That's not good. So what I can do... This messes with my... I get really OCD about certain things. There we go. It's close to a minute. So this was not appropriate yet. But you want to be able to build it in under a minute. Not everything is in range. So, you see, like, this is why you don't make the Aphis too soon. So I made this Aphis too soon. And a bunch of these contours also aren't in range. So I'm just going to eat them. These are, it's like you need, these are things that you need to iron out. Oh, while we're doing this, I can have this guy start the converters over here. Even better, I'll just do this. It seems like I don't have enough build power still. And then I'm just doing this line. It's this grid-like structure. Well, you'll see how it progresses over time. Surprisingly ahead on an E still while building converters. It's okay to make a little bit extra, not a whole lot extra, just to save yourself some micro sanity. Or you can do this with a T2 aircon. But like at this point, if you wanted, this is where you're, well, you should be paying attention the whole time, but this is like, you know, an arbitrary spot that you would tell a new player, like, start paying attention. So you can go T2 air. Your first thing before you think about going T3 is, are you winning air? Now all my build power is centralized, so I can build all these, and a wise man once said that scaling build power for air or going air is scaling your economy because of the amount of build power that it requires. That was IYC. Of all the things he said, that one really stuck with me. So base will look like this. We have the air factory, so we can add in a T2 aircon, and see, we're not like spending our metal. And my OCD says that I want everything on the grid. When I finally decide to start making fusions, I could eat a fusion right now, but I have this factory. Well, I'm not in, when I'm building fusions, I generally don't want to also be in unit making mode. I can make a few more of these just to make my life easier with the micro management of my base. I can have things doing more air cons, is basically what I'm trying to say. So I'm supplementing the air player because the last thing I want is to get bombed. And at some point, you don't have to do it super early, but like, don't put down a anti-nuke until you have about what do you call it, 2 or 3 fusions. Otherwise, like, they cost a lot of E, surprisingly. So, but when you place an anti-nuke, you want to place it kind of where it's just the outside is over the corner, so it's not leaving a gap, and it's also like you could build it further back or further forward, but like kind of a medium spot. This almost covers every 3 people's base. Or if you want it like this might be ideal, because I don't know. And then there would be like one right here if you needed one. So when you start stalling while you're building your APHIS, recycle your fusions. Keep an eye on that energy bar because you may end up floating metal. You don't want that. So these get built. I started this APHIS before noticing that we need more conversion. So I will prioritize, I'll start one over here too. I'm using the area command, but I'm like telling it to repair this building. If you do area repair, it'll keep, the other cons will keep on whatever they're stuck to instead of just doing nothing. If you do the area repair command. Let's start another APHIS.
You are wasting energy.
And it's easier if you have multiple T2 air cons. We still have this guy here. I forgot about him. Don't forget what resources you have available to you. Now, you know, I really don't like making units. I really like to scale. But I don't want to start... Also, first off, I don't want to be building 2 APHIS at once. If people need spam, this is how I would do it. Everyone, you're going to end up every game needing to make spam. So I will put these kind of like on the outskirts of the base. We're stalling. So another fusion can be recycled. We're massively overproducing E for the moment. I'm keeping my slider all the way down once I'm in like full stable energy production. So you're seeing these inefficiencies that can get ironed out.
You are wasting metal.
All right. Razorbacks are pretty good. At some point you'll be making Thors. People like Razorbacks. Vanguard are, if everyone's porked up properly, Vanguard is like the only T3 unit you'll ever need until like 40-50 minutes into the game. But this is how it looks. It's nice and clean. If I want, there's another thing that you can do. Like, okay, first, well, have these spam out some. It's not your responsibility to make spam, by the way, and feel free to make sure that your team knows that before they start blaming you for being their own irresponsibilities. And then sometimes this build power will be just sitting there and don't wanna waste metal. Waste metal is a big no-no. These can, if you place the converters just right, they take up space, right? I don't like that. I'm gonna add in some more advanced air construction thingies. I'm gonna hold E plus Alt on top of the energy converter, so it will specifically reclaim those energy converters. If it's safe to blow them up, I would do it that way. Now I can replace. I'm just gonna randomly place these. And if you keep it more compact, it's like the less bubbles that you need, but you shouldn't need bubbles back here. If you put it like kind of off to the side, maybe like put it right in the middle. Kind of start with one row and then have it go further out. Otherwise, you have to make more of these. So I will just build these. We'll assume that we need them. And this is just, this is going to keep getting built out further and further. And the air player is probably going to need this space, so I'm going to build it like here. On a normal air factory. Keep an eye on like what's going on, because you can't always be like hard ecoing, right? This is like the ideal situation we're in, is that we are using our metal and whatnot. And okay, say we are winning the front, so it's perfectly fine, if not the best play, to just eat the T3 factory and make tons more conversion. And then what I'm making these air factories for is we're gonna go back to APHIS production, and this is you can very easily overmake T1 aircons, but these will help build faster. I'm going to turn off factory guard on the T1, and I'm going to build an array of con turrets around both of these factories so that they get built. So we're building build power to build more build power, to build more APHIS, to build more APHIS. At some point, like, when do you stop doing this? I mean, it really depends on your team, because I play noob lobbies, so I always feel like I have to compensate for everyone and do everything. Or you could be like the warrior tech archetype, which works really well in getting tempo for your team, because the most efficient way to get metal is claiming and denying metal extractors. So that's why but if you want to like be a front tech, I prefer core. His banishers are really good. And this is, I have a older video of like being the ninja tech, or not ninja, just a warrior type tech, going core and exploring, going vehicles as the tech player. He's eating these fusions. So now our APHIS are getting built really quick. But when do you stop doing this? Well, I don't think you should ever stop scaling, but you do need to make an appropriate amount of units, and your front should be making an appropriate amount of pork, and be doing... This is not just a tech position thing to be doing. This is everyone's job. So I think that's enough aircons. So we have all this build power, and our base is gonna be building out like this. Looks like conveniently we had enough space in there already, but not here. It's sad to have to eat this metal, this extractor, or this converter, and that's still not enough. So you can never have enough air. Some end games in this is just winning air and bombing the teams, the enemy team. But one of your, like, instead of like worrying about arbitrarily getting T3 up, like, think of all the threats. If you can supplement the air player, that's huge, because your team not getting bombed is like super valuable. And this just continues to build out. The front player will have way more space to play in to do this. So you'd be looking for places to build more APHIS at some point. And you'd like massive farms of construction turrets. So I would grab a chunk of air cons and say this spot is open. So I will put like 3 or 4 of these down, and then like this. And it would either be a farm or whatever, a block for spam, like this we have back here. And it can be that, and then later it doesn't need to be spam anymore. I'm approaching the idea of like, what time do you just stop going front or stop scaling? It's when it's more valuable to go for the metal that's on the ground than to continue scaling. And when you get to that point, you need to do this. This is how you win end games. Here is one place that we're going to be pumping out T3 from at some point. And I think if you look at the build power requirement for a Titan, it's a little bit better than the Titan and the Thor are a little bit better than a Razorback. If you're struggling to decide if you make a Thor or a Razorback. This is gonna slow us down, but it's gonna look like this. And then, but you always need spam, so you'd have a block like that. Somebody needs it. If there's not enough spam, someone's got to make the spam. Doesn't matter what position you're playing, if there's not enough spam, someone's got to step up. And you'll see, like, okay, I want to make more air. I feel like I have enough APHIS right now, so I can fill this out. And we'd be like, okay, so one thing that I like to do with my spam factories is that I'm actually gonna give them the fight command, if I can. I guess it's F plus right click, which is weird. 4 pawns to 1 Lazarus or to Resbot, and the Resbots will automatically eat whatsoever in the way, and you still get spam. There's the downfall. You can have one factory specifically making res, but that takes a little bit. There's a bit of inefficiency because you don't want to be paying attention. You don't want to be sending Resbots to just die. So the quota mode is they just get replaced and replaced and replaced, when it'd be better to just make spam. Depending on the time part of the game, it'd be appropriate to make ticks or pawns, just based on like the existence of people using Junos. So this is our base, and then oh well, once you really start having stuff to eat, like the only thing between the only thing that's going to decide the game is you being able to get the... Oh god, I don't want to destroy him on accident. The only thing between the thing that's gonna win you the game. I'm having a lot of trouble speaking. Is gonna be build power and res, because there's gonna be so much freaking res on the ground. You just and it's gonna be too slow to eat. I mean to resurrect. And then we run out of space here, so back canyon players usually the person who has spare space because they don't scale at all.
Titan ready.
And that's not because they shouldn't scale, it's because they don't scale. So it would look like this, and you see the sprawl comes further and further out. And if other people aren't using their space, like at some point, there's a balance where like they're just not using the space. Which is where people are gonna get mad at you, so you have to think, am I in the right lobby? Or and it'll look like this. Notice at no point did I say build a nuke. Yeah, it'll look like this. So it's 40 minutes and we have a massive air cons. We have 19 APHIS. Could have more. But I just wanted to show you what this looks like around. It just depends on like the availability of reclaim, and also if your team's not like reclaiming, like somebody has to take the initiative to get the reclaim. Yeah. 6,000 metal produced. And we wouldn't really just be arbitrarily building things. It's just like the decision making will be, do I need to support and in what way? If the team needs more air, I build more air. If I need to plug a hole with units, I do that. If there's a vulnerability to LRPC, I will build Vanguard. And there's going to be also a point where I think it might be safer to make units, but like you'll also be, especially if you're doing this as a frontline player, this skill is like you have to do this as a frontline player, or have this skill, especially if you're playing noob lobbies where people can't handle their own lanes and close out. You will have to make this massive APHIS stack. Basically scaling is insurance, I guess. When your team, you have to have income for multiple people. I don't know. We'll have all these bubbles. There's gonna be a point, and it's gonna be around like 40-50 minutes that you need to make a Ragnarok. And also it's good if you have space, like you can, if you're about this far in and you
You are wasting metal.
get anti-air, these long range anti-air turrets into like above a person's base, that's huge. You can just go ahead and bomb them. But in this sprawl, you already have the air cons. The big thing about rags is not their metal cost, which is significant, but one of the hardest things to do when building a rag or a lol cannon is the amount of build power you have. So you have these air cons, and it's better like this would be like further up front, so you'd actually build it here. First thing I would do is go for the most efficient type of build power, which is con turrets. You're gonna need them anyway.
Unit cap reached.
Unit cap. Okay. Just gonna blow up all these. You can have lots and lots of con turrets and stuff. These a lot of things will be dying in real time. And you'll have this, you can build it where you have one of these stacks of con turrets. You can just build the rag with it and then have the air cons assist it. And just make sure that your energy slider, and it should just not even go low enough that your lol cannon can't fire. But I couldn't tell you that for sure. But this thing's gonna get built. And if you're just barely there, you have some T3 factories lying around. You can eat them up and finish it. And then hopefully you have an you're going air and can kind of guess where and you have an idea or can guess where their eco is at. So you can do that. And then everyone's gonna swarm you, so this would be up here. You should have like 20,000 pulsars in the front on this map. So you have the pulsars that are already up. You rebuild the T3 factory. You hold everything off. You paid for your rag with reclaim. Probably. Unless both teams are like really good and just don't feed metal. So hopefully that'll get some people destroyed. And then you decide, am I going to make another rag? Am I going to make... Or am I going to spam titans off of reclaim? It's just like... These are kind of things that you think about. So that was... I think we successfully made it through it. So... We did this a little bit backwards, but we're going to end this with a replay review, which is what inspired me to do this video in the first place. Look at how many times I had to restart. This is in the Discord. I'm going to try not to... I'm going to try to just concentrate on the tech position. You can look back. I'm not sure exactly what time I had my cons out, but... those would be kind of like a really good middle ground timing for having a good economy and sharing cons and sharing fat boys. But we did talk about the end game, which is very important. You should know what to do. It can get really overwhelming when you haven't experienced those before. So I watched this once before, but we're just gonna go through it again because instead of recording, I was streaming because I'm dumb. And I'm still streaming actually. Hi Reaper. I'm banned from Bar, so I tried out the Sanctuary demo. It's not very playable quite yet for me because it's lacking hotkeys. I think if they have hotkeys, I don't know what they are, but I feel like that's like one of the first things that should be put into an RTS. Is all the quality of life stuff. And we're very spoiled with Bar. Anyway, I noticed when I was watching this, you guys are in the same clan. You guys were on Discord talking probably or play together a lot. Be careful with that because that'll get that can get your OS higher than it should be. So like once you're not playing with certain people, then you may underperform. It's one of my frustrations that I've gone on about on this channel before, but let's not concentrate on that. You got I would say build 2 solar, but you received a solar for the con so that you can get this out quickly. I would continue building solars until you get 4 or 5 before, especially, okay, so this was a first big thing. You have a bunch of metal in the bank already. You can build more solars right now before you go walking, and I like that you're using the comm to go walk. But also you could have started, I don't know what's better, if it's to get the build power going earlier or to walk. I think it's good to have more metal. And some people will walk to take all the mechs with their comm before they build a factory. And I do like that build. But I try to find a middle ground. I don't do experimenting. I don't know how to experiment. I'm too lazy to experiment, I should say. So you could have built 2 solars here and then assisted out cons as needed. And when you get the solar given to you, that allows you to give the con much faster, and your first con should go to the air player, especially if they're being cooperative. Otherwise, if they're not paying and refuse to give you a solar, feel free to tell them you're not getting a con and just take the L. Tough love. The sooner, also the air player should also be doing a comm walk in the beginning to get 4 max up. And then I'm a huge solar enjoyer, but I did realize that the micromanagement, and I think it's too slow. Anyway, we already went through my build. We're just looking at your replay now. So you could have assisted out the cons and then had build power. A lot more build power to get the wind up, and you want to get up to 30 wind. What I don't like, you didn't take this max up here, which was available to you, and secondly, I don't like that you built these here because you can't eat them later in a convenient way. Or it's like an inconvenient spot to eat. Good, we're making the las, the resbots. Nobody else should be making resbots to eat the metal on the ground. That's all techs. All of it's for the tech. And if you're taking all that and not, if you are taking it and not giving it to the tech, you're trolling. But if you have like a really good tech, and you're doing good in your lane, and you're just sitting there impatiently waiting to get a T2 con, feed the tech. I'm getting a bit parched here. One moment. I've been at it for a while. Sorry. I think 2 to 3 energy storage is the sweet spot, but when you're floating, also do conversion. Sorry. I'm really parched. I'm like, I do this stuff with my mouth.
Commander, self-destructed.
It's bothering me. So you want to get up to about 30 wind, and you could have got all this stuff done faster. Jeez, I wish maybe this wasn't a great idea to go over this replay after. But what you can do here is just tap and go. like this is an inefficiency where before this is really gonna slow you down. You can tap and go all of your mechs and then give it to the, or like as many mechs as you can that are within range of your con turrets, and then send it to the air player.
Commander self-destructed.
And then you get the 4 mechs up, and then share. That'll give you a really, really, really good economic foundation. And it's okay to overbuild E, because if you get the more E you have available, the faster you can blow through the metal that
Commander
is given to you if your team's doing well. Also, I'm not sure if you're doing this, but we'll take a look. I like that this con is on high priority. I have mine on low priority by default because it just causes too many issues if I am not really paying attention. So I like to do it manually. But as a tech player, it is kind of annoying, but you want to queue up 3 mechs and more. This, not sure what's happening there. Why it's walking to the front. I guess he really wants. He could have tapped at least 1 max.
Commander destroyed.
I thought he might have been going up there to build an agitator, but he's gonna get a fat boy. I've talked about this. Like, who do you give the cons to in what order? It's whoever has build power in their base and can capitalize on it the quickest.
Commander destroyed.
I did notice this. I just have to point it out. Rushing T2. Is trolling on glitters. So and you'll see that this guy completely threw his lane. There was a point where you almost got bombed and you built this nettle, but I think you e-stalled because okay, they have a high build power requirement. They cost a lot of E. And they take a long time to build, even if you can afford those other 2 things. The nettles are just going to build faster and are more likely to save you. And once you don't need it anymore, you can eat it, but you didn't. And we'll see something later. Like, there's gonna be times where your team fell behind on air, and you could have taken it upon yourself to, like you built. We're getting ahead, but make sure you're building 1 major project at a time. I like the butlers, but they should be out assisting the advanced metal extractors first. And if the 7 mechs is left open for you, you should take it, and also just request it in general. Or more. I mean, you could, like, ooh, can I take all these? And just take them with your comm. There's talking. Alright. You made the anti-nuke, but a lot of the time this is like way too early for a nuke. Most of the time. I like that you waited until you had a fusion before you built it. You don't want to ever stall. But, like, it's still pretty early for a nuke. It costs 8,190 and 3 times the energy. I don't think anyone can afford a nuke this early. I'm sure someone can prove me wrong. But, yeah. This guy is just blowing through the front line, and I think most of his eco's been... Oh, man. Okay, look at that. Love to see it. Everyone's upgrading their max. He's assisting it. I think partially as he's doing conversion with wind, and I think he's just killing it with the front, so a lot of it was reclaim. Anyway, moving on. I think you could have afforded a little bit more build power, and at this point, like, you made hounds. Hounds aren't that great. Hounds get beat by fat boys, so you're better off just making fat boys. I'm not sure. I think you only shared one fat boy. The enemy tech shared like 4, so that's kind of scary. You should be paying attention. Like, well, I mean, everyone should have gauntlets up. Anti-Canyon should have gauntlets up on this hill. Canyon should have gauntlets up on this hill. It doesn't always work out like that, but everyone should have like at least one gauntlet around this time, and those will deter most fat boy stuff. Or everyone should have a solid solution to a fat boy at this point, and it's like you need a jammer, plenty of pork. Upgrade that pork to gauntlet, buy you long enough time to upgrade your max and make your own T2 sort of thing. But I just wanted to look like wasn't comparing your eco to the other tech, but he's 26.8, so you should be way ahead of him. Because I think he shared more, but you're actually 4K behind. I'm not quite sure what happened there. He did take this max. He's also building an arbitrary anti-nuke. At this point, I wanted to say that once you start making fusions, it's a good time to eat your lab and ramp up build power, and you can eat your like T1 cons except for maybe like 1, so you can make a solar or whatever you need. The butlers can just go to some random place and build a bunch of blocks of conversion off to the side, preferably in a place where you can just blow them up and not have to reclaim them like I did. I like having my build power, my build turrets. I like to build the stuff in the range of the build turrets, but I don't always think ahead of like where I'm gonna start placing my T2 conversion. It just becomes a mess. And so if you have the foresight to build it somewhere where you never have to worry about that, that works too. You're going T2 conversion way too early. And I'm not sure what the plan is with these. I guess somebody... you're helping the front line. I don't agree with the blitz, though.
Commander destroyed.
Let's stop here. So, you guys, like, broke through everywhere. And there was a point where it looked like you guys were losing because they had, like, 4 fat boys. But it looks like everyone basically won their lane. I can't give too much of an analysis on that. Like, it looks definitely like the 4 fat boys was a throw, because this T2 is super late. Even the backline's still working on upgrading their max. So you can see, like, those early fat boys are only, like, terrifying when people kami. And you should not tolerate that in the matches that you play because it's not representative of real gameplay. It's a waste of time. So this was a big blunder. The Aphis is way too early. You're just kind of caught with your pants down, and you guys, it's especially gonna go down to the tech player and the air player to have the air, because like your positions are like the most obvious that you should be scaling BP. So you should have seen this coming from like a mile away. And this at this point is like, oh god. But this team doesn't ever make any attempt to take their mechs. So after this big, like the nettle is finally doing, or the chainsaw you have is finally doing damage. But the proper response here is to stop trying to build this Aphis and build an air factory and go shoot down this air. And it's not just on you, it's your entire team that is not doing this. Every single person here could have thought, we're getting bombed, I should like immediately drop everything to shoot this down. And just like letting, I see this a lot, I've seen this a lot lately, is like one guy just has bombers flying around and they're not being dealt with, and it's the only, people might be playing the blame game, but really it's all these things are everybody's responsibility, and if you see the need, then you should fill it. So just put that in your toolbox to be willing to make air in any position. And usually, well, not as a tech player, but as anyone else, usually
Commander destroyed.
you don't want to get your T2 factory bombed, then build some air first. Because someone else will make 20 bombers and do a timing push, and you're just like, well, this sucks. So just be willing to make air. But this Aphis was, you should have like 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 fusions before you should ever be thinking about going Aphis. And you're stalling here. I don't hate, I love that he's rezzing, not eating. I don't hate that you're making units, but my philosophy is it's always better to pork up and scale, and no one can convince me otherwise. It may look like it's hard to do everything all at once, so I can see how like wanting, like just trying to figure out like what's like the best all-rounder sort of aggro build that's gonna do great work for you. I don't know. But as you play more, things are gonna open up for you where you don't have to be doing these efficiency things because you're limited by habit and APM or whatever, and like your brain stalling to try to do decision making. So like things are gonna open up for you, and you'll start seeing more and more things, better ways to sneak in more eco. And yeah, it's just you can do many things at any given point. And I guess a good way to describe it is that you want to have tons of things in your toolbox. So one example was supplementing air. And the biggest thing is you just don't want to die. The Starlight push with Blitz is a great play. I've even done videos on it. What's great about it is if it breaks through, you can sustain it by using Reclaim, or you can recycle it. All that damage, all those units that you destroyed, you don't have to overcommit to this push to get to completely kill. You can just solidify your lead by going more fusions and stuff, as long as you're being safe about it, not like getting bombed, stuff like that. You guys do win despite getting bombed, because you guys have a very strong front. You can see how ineffective it is to have your highest OS player in the back, but he's a 5 shove, so maybe that's all he does is play air. Don't know, one guy left here, he recognized that once you lose more than half of the map for a significant amount of time without an immediate kind of recourse, I don't know, to the other team, this is like a obvious resign. It's kind of weird that he's sending these Starlights back. I think it was a miss micro. But there's another bombing run, and looks like he had more than enough air, but just kind of miss microed it. It's kind of a meme at this point, because these guys don't end up trying to retake their mechs at all. So we don't really have to continue watching this. Red is just silly. I hate people who play Canyon. I don't like this playstyle of Canyon, of like T2 really fast, T3 really fast, like solid play just completely stomps this stuff. They're like trying to push Canyon with Starlights is weird. And he had more than enough Starlights to fight that off. Just tried pushing it in the Canyon. Yeah, there's not too much more to say about this, but hopefully if you have any questions, like drop it in the comments, or yeah, in the DMs. Hopefully that's helpful. Yeah, we did it in one take. I don't have to do any editing. Yeah, boy.